Hey guys, it's Darren from Darren's World and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm at Game of Cobras at Romilly van den Berg's collection of venomous snakes. He mainly keeps cobras, which is really exciting to me because I'm a cobra girl. And in today's video we're gonna talk about handling venomous snakes, and I mainly want to talk about hooks, what they are for, and what you need to keep in mind when you buy a hook, how you can use them, and many other things that are all related to handling venomous snakes and hooks, because I get many questions about it. Why do you handle venomous snakes with hooks? I see people handling other snakes just with their bare hands all the time. So yeah, I want to tell you a little bit more about that in this video. So if you would like to know more about handling venomous snakes, then please keep on watching. So people often ask me, why do you handle certain species with hooks and all these sort of snake gear and other species with your bare hands? And that's another question. Some species that I handle are venomous and the other species are non-venomous, and that's the big difference between those. Non-venomous snake species you can usually handle without gear. This does depend a little bit on the temperament of the individual. Sometimes I see people handling non-venomous snakes with gear as well, which is fine, it's just extra safety. But usually you can handle them without anything, just your bare hands. The reason for this is that even if they were to bite, which is usually not the case if you handle them properly, the damage is very minimal. They're non-venomous, so they won't envenomate you. They might have very sharp teeth, so there might be some tissue damage, but that's about it. Therefore, you can handle non-venomous snakes without any gear. When it comes to venomous snakes, however, you want to reduce the chance of the snake biting you to, if possible, to zero. This means that the head of the snake can never come within striking range of your body. So you don't want to have the snake in a position where it could possibly bite you. So this is not to say that venomous snakes are more likely to bite you than non-venomous snakes. No, not at all. Actually, venom is very expensive to produce, so snakes are usually very reluctant to bite a person. They don't want to waste their venom on us. However, if they do bite you, if a venomous snake does bite you, the consequences are just way worse than when a non-venomous snake would bite you. All the snakes in this collection have the potential to kill me. Therefore, I am, handling them in a professional way, which is with hooks and all sorts of other materials. I never ever want to give the snake the opportunity to be able to bite me. So that's just basically why you handle venomous snakes with gear. Now, the most important tool to handle them is the snake hook. There's many different kinds of snakes hooks, and I get a lot of questions about snakes hooks, especially about this pink one, which is really one of my favorites. Now, there are several brands. Two brands that I really would recommend is Midwest. This one is by Midwest, for instance, and Mark Plimmer. I think it's called MP Hooks or something like that. So those are two really solid, good brands that I would definitely recommend. What I'm looking for when I'm buying a hook or when I'm using a hook is that they are really lightweight. As you can see, I really don't have any muscle, so I don't want, the snake is heavy enough on its own. I really don't want to be bothered by heavy hooks. One person recently gave me a hook and it was so heavy, I was like, this is really not safe to use. So what I'm looking for is lightweight hooks. Another thing that I am looking for is a long handle. So what I like is when the handle of a hook is quite long, because when handling venomous snakes, it can be that I need to change my position, and then it's really nice if you can have grip along a longer piece of the hook. And these hooks are a good example of that, because this is all of the all like grippy materials, or I don't know, rubber or something. So that's very nice if you have a good handle on it. And the other end of the hook, we have the part that you handle the snake with. As you can see, there are different sizes. So this pink one is rather small, and this Midwest one is already a bit bigger. But if you were to handle very, very large snakes, you can get them even bigger than this. And another thing that is very important to take into consideration is the width of the end of the hook. So these ones are very thin, or rather thin, as you can see. That's because today I'm going to handle very lightweight snakes, so there's no issue with that. However, if you were to handle heavier snakes, such as big rattlesnakes, maybe a big puff adder, this is when you want to increase the surface area of the end of the hook. So then this basically becomes broader. And the reason for that is so you can distribute the weight of the snake. They are very heavy, and it's not nice if all that weight is concentrated on a very small area. You might hurt the snake. So if you have a very heavy snake, you want to choose a hook that is wider at the end. So yeah, that's about hooks, but there's many other tools that you want to use if you are a venomous snake handler. Feeding, for instance, you can never ever put your hand in a viv. That's just not an option. So for feeding, you use tweezers. There's also many different sizes in that in these products. This small one I use to feed babies with, but if you have larger prey, it's nice to have a bigger set of tweezers, so you can use that. Sometimes I'm really not using them that often, but sometimes you can use venom defender gloves. They look like this. I personally view these as an extra, so I fully rely on my skills, and these might be an extra barrier. It's like a trade-off, however, because they do give you that extra bit of safety, but it's also very stiff material, and as you can see, I have very small hands, so I also lose a lot of movement. So yeah, it's a trade-off. It really depends on the situation, but you can also use these. Then, for instance, if a snake needs medication, everything becomes so much more difficult when you handle venomous snakes. You can't just give them their medication. You use tubes for that, and there's different sizes, as you can see. So that's also tools that you use. Sometimes you might use something that looks like this. I don't know what you call this, maybe like a thong or something. Yeah. A snake thong. Yeah, I'm Dutch, so sometimes I don't know English words, don't kill me. What we use this for is not for the snake itself. Sometimes I see this in television shows and I'm like, oh, you wouldn't like to be grabbed with a tool like that, it hurts, you don't do that. I mean, you gotta improve your snake skills if you are not able to work with just a plain hook, because this is just really, I'm not a fan of that. What we use it for is like if you have a very big rabbit, you can feed it with this, or we place our water, what do you call it? Water bowls for drinking water. We place it in the corner, but sometimes snakes move it around and you want to have that very close to the opening of the window. Then you can grab it with this thingy and pull it closer to you and give the snake water. So these are just some of the tools that you need if you want to be a venomous snake handler. And well, without any further ado, let's get to the snake handling. So the first thing you want to do when you start to handle venomous snake is obviously open the viv. Now this is already a thing that you need to be considerate about, because if I'm standing here and I want to open this viv, it's actually very dangerous. Namely, the opening is here, so if I slide it open, the snake can come out and bite me. And the whole thing about handling venomous snakes, as I told you before, is never give a snake the opportunity to bite you. So what you'll do is stand the other way, away from the opening of the window. Never ever place your nails or fingers here, even if it's very hard for you to open the viv, which is often the case for me, because like I said, I'm not a strong person. It doesn't matter, you just place your hand like this, you never go in. So, oh hi, somebody's watching us. So what you do if you want to open the viv is you go like this, and if you want to close it, do the same thing. Your hands are never anywhere near or in the viv, because that is dangerous. We don't do that. So that's step one of handling a venomous snake. Let's get to some snake handling. As you can see, I'm wearing safety glasses. This is because the species that I'm going to handle right now is a spitting cobra species. It's a Indochinese spitting cobra. So yeah, that's why I protect my eyes. I don't want to get venom into my eyes. Obviously that's gonna hurt like a bitch, and I could go blind, which is not something I want. So yes, that's what we're going to do. The reason why we're taking him out now is one, to practice, two, to get out any sheds, poo, anything, clean out the viv. You cannot do that while the snake is in the viv, as you could with non-venomous snakes. So let's get the snake in a separate tub, and then we can clean out the viv. So I'm looking for a good loop. What I want is to grab the tail, and then I want to give the snake some support, like so. And then very easily we can put the snake in the tub. Now, what you don't want is ever to put your hand or your head close to the opening. We're gonna put the snake in. Always put a lid on like I just did, because if the snake comes out, you don't want it to come at you, so you basically use it as a shield. That's that, it's locked up. Now we can do whatever we want inside of it. So we filled up the water, everything is clean. We're gonna put the snake back. And it's also very important that you keep a couple of things in mind. The same as when I was putting it in, you really use the lid of the tub as a shield. So what I'm going to do now is open up the handles. What's very important is that you let the lid touch the bottom half in order to prevent a gap. Because if you have a gap between your lid and the rest of the tub, the snake could go under it and bite you. So what I'm doing now is go like this. Snake's down. Still, I don't want to have my head close to the opening, because it could very well be that the snake is actually on top, and then it's a very dangerous situation, so you always avoid that. Now I'm looking to get the tail up, because if I can grab the tail, never put your hand in the tub like I said. Just go like this. Now it's a little bit, the snake is a little bit twisted, that's fine. You can just go like so. Find another spot on the body to grab it. Always move the snake towards you. We go like this, give it some support, keep it horizontal. Let it find an opening. Everything will go very smoothly. Go like this, and now you close the viv as I just taught you. Like so. So actually, handling cobras is really not a difficult. The most important thing is that you find yourself a mentor. I found several, and of course my favorite of all time is Romilly van den Berg. He told me everything I know about handling snakes. That's step one. Find a good mentor and study till you drop. And that will be a good basis. And also be very patient. It might be that you have a very long time where you don't handle any venomous snakes at all whatsoever. And that's also fine. Your mentor will know when it's the right time for you to get started. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!